I'm delighted to invite Olivier and Dexter to talk to us about a subject that in these challenging times affects us all. Our ability to overcome the problems, frustration and anxiety that the pandemic and subsequent lockdowns have had on our businesses and relationships. How we react in any given situation will determine our success financially, emotionally and personally. And in this age of COVID, we need to ensure that, as with our physical fitness, our mental fitness leads us down the pathway to peak performance. During 2020, Olivier and Dexter were introduced to the concepts of positive intelligence and undertook an intensive and ongoing course of study based on extensive neuroscientific research under the direction of Stamford University professor Shirzad Chamine. The individuals they've worked with using these concepts has resulted in positive life-changing experiences and a new focus. And Dexter and Olivier are delighted to share these practical concepts with you today to help you reach your peak performance. So without further ado, I'm now going to hand over to Dexter and Olivier, and please give them a very warm virtual welcome.
Thank you very much, Sharon, for this opportunity. Dexter and I have been looking forward to share this presentation with everyone today. Can I just ask everyone, are you happy for us to try an experiment? For the next 30 seconds, think about anything that you want to think about. It may be the most recent sports game you watch, a funny video on YouTube, the conversation you had with someone this morning, or even what kind of lunch are you going to have today? I think I'll be thinking about my lunch today, actually. But whatever you do, please, please don't think of a blue tree. All right, I'll take a moment and please no cheating. My question now is, how long did it last before you thought of a blue tree? How strange is that? Now, my guess is not even 5 seconds, but I bet you wondered why on earth we're talking about a blue tree. And why would I be interested in a blue tree? Well, you see, in psychology, this is known as the ironic process theory, where deliberate attempts to suppress certain thoughts actually make them more likely to surface. Oh, that's not very helpful, is it? So let me ask you, who is in charge of your thoughts? Is that you? Is that somebody else? Is it circumstances? Who is in charge of your thoughts? Well, we all have limiting beliefs. I think we might all agree on that one. And they have their roots in negative thoughts and emotions. And if we let them, these negative emotions can rule the day when it comes to seeing ourselves and certainly seeing others and seeing the circumstances we face on a daily basis. Imagine what your life would be like if you were able to reduce the influence of your own negative emotions and make room in your thinking, in your brain, for positive thoughts so that they can become the dominant way you see yourself, you see others, and you see circumstances in your daily life. What would you think would happen? Well, this can be achieved, you know. It can be achieved through a new operating system. Think of a computer, a new operating system in our brain. And the question, of course, is, well, how do we access and develop this new operating system? Well, it simply requires creating new neural pathways with regular brain exercises, simple exercises, mind you, in the same way that we build our physical muscles when we go to the gym. Very similar way. So would you be willing to do yourself a big favor and learn these things that will have a profound impact on how you lead your life on a day-to-day basis? First of all, how to turn the volume down on these debilitating thoughts that come to mind, the self-talk that we have that can be so negative. Number two, learn how to make positivity your default position in terms of thoughts and emotions. And three, learn to turn problems and difficulties into opportunities, looking at them as gifts rather than hindrances. So if you're happy to explore these things and these concepts with us, would you kindly go to the chat box and write, yes, please, if you would. Thank you very much. Dexter, over to you. You're muted, Dexter.
That's a very good start, isn't it? Because I had a good cough before while Olivia was speaking. I was just saying that, I'm assuming that you've put yes, please in the chat box because we can't actually see the chat box. But let's move forward on this. I don't know about you, but when I'm asked to think positively, my first reaction is how? How, when you're going through a difficult situation, how the hell can you possibly think positively? So I want to give you this quote. It's 500 years ago. Michel de Montaigne said, and I am going to read this, "My life has been filled with terrible misfortune, most of which never happened." Modern studies now show that 85% of what we worry about never happens. And with the 15%, I can hear people saying, well, what about the 15%? That 15% that did happen, 79% of subjects discovered either they could handle the difficulty better than expected, or the difficulty taught them a life lesson worth learning. This means that 90% of what we worry over is not much more than a fearful mind punishing us with exaggerations and misconceptions. So how do we take control over our fearful mind and turn down the volume on those impish voices in our heads, and I'm sure you have them, I certainly have them, that tell us we will fail, we're not good enough, or we don't have the skills? Our mission today, Olivia and my mission, is to offer you a new and more productive way to run your brains to attain peak performance. To discuss a system that has changed our lives, how we coach others, and to share with you the positive impact it has on our clients and those that we have taken through this system. Okay, so let's explore what has changed our perspective and how we think and react to challenging situations. This new way of thinking and working is born out of neuroscientific research by Shirzad Chamine, whose program is called Positive Intelligence, and you can see his book here and the root of where this all comes from. It deals with the concept of developing mental fitness. But first, let's define what is mental fitness. It's our capacity to respond to life's challenges with positive rather than a negative mindset. Lots of people are talking about resilience and mindset. What we want to do is put some practicality to that. And it impacts three specific levels. It impacts our peak performance. That's number one. But it's also about our peace of mind and our mental wellness, and creating healthy relationships. Now, I want to tell you these are not hypothetical theories, but practical, real-world solutions and situations that have been proved at the highest level and worldwide. This system of thinking and learning is predicated on three key elements, these three core muscles at the root of mental fitness. And they are the saboteur-interceptor. That's the ability to recognize when the voices in our heads try to derail us. The sage concept, an ability to consider situations and people in a more positive frame of mind. And I want to emphasize that it's the ability to consider situations and ourselves and other people in a more positive frame of mind. And the third, self-command, the ability to see every situation as a gift of learning and experience. Every situation. So let's put this into perspective in terms of how the brain works as a sophisticated computer, as Olivia said originally. With a computer, the hardware, as we know, is a desktop, a laptop, or an iPad. The operating systems are Microsoft, Apple, or the others that are out there. And that runs the numerous applications like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all of those things. And so it is with our brain. The hardware is the brain. The operating system is our view of the world, programmed through our life experience. And the applications are how we react to circumstances. And you can see on this slide that there are saboteurs, and we would discuss that, and there is the sage principle of looking at things in a more positive way that operates all of those applications that we use on a daily basis. The problem is that we're all due an upgrade. Often, how we react to situations does not serve us. The old programs that limit us, which could be the voices of our teachers, our parents, and others, may have guided us at one point when we were children, but now as adults restrict us. As with a computer, any virus or malware that is introduced can corrupt the operating system. With our brains, any reactions that cause us anxiety, stress, or fear similarly can corrupt our thinking. Olivia, over to you.
Thank you, Dexter. We all want to get rid of anxiety, stress, and fear, don't we? But you see, these corrupting elements are called the judge and his 9 negative accomplices, the saboteurs. Now, of course, I don't intend to go through those in detail, but their names are the controller, the hyperachiever, the restless, the stickler, the pleaser, the hypervigilant, the avoider, the victim, and the hyperrational. Illustrated here is the result of a saboteur assessment survey that we will discuss later. You might be interested in that survey. All have a place in our persona, but when overused and abused, they can create anxiety, stress, and those negative emotions that prevent us from performing or achieving as we could. So let's put this into perspective. May I ask you a question? And here it is. Are negative emotions good for us? And is pain good for us, really? Well, the answer is yes. Yes, but only for a second, because this allows us to recognize when things are not going well, so that we can take the necessary action and measures to resolve the issues in a calm, stress-free way. Staying in negative emotion hurts our ability to see clearly and respond with empathy, curiosity, creativity, and laser-focused action. Our negative emotions are actually saboteurs of our performance and well-being. And if it hurts, why would you keep your hand on the virtual hot plate? So then how do we overcome these debilitating forces and silence those negative voices? Well, I'm sure we all realize that the only thing we have control over is how we react to any given situation. We need to adopt the sage perspective. And actually, we need to develop the 5 sage powers. Our saboteurs motivate us actually through negative emotions, fear, stress, anger, guilt, shame, and insecurity. But our sage powers motivate us through positive emotions, empathy, curiosity, creativity, passion, and purpose. But how do we move away from our saboteur thinking and bring to the fore the sage powers? Dexter, over to you.
Thanks, Olivier. We said right at the beginning that these are not hypothetical processes. These are things that we worked with our clients with, and indeed still work on ourselves with. So if you are happy to, I'd like to take you through one of the processes that we use in this course that has been developed by Shirzad Chamine. So I'm going to invite you to put 2 fingers of your hands together. Either hand, it doesn't really matter. And take a deep breath, and I'm going to do it with you. And with such attention, feel the ridges on the fingers of your hand. You might even like to close your eyes. So please close your eyes, because that will help you to be even more focused. Release any thoughts you might be having. Pay exquisite attention to the feelings of your 2 fingers. Now open your eyes if they were closed. You have just experienced a PQ rep, when for a few seconds you have quietened down the intrusion of the world around us. Now, this brief exercise was not meant to demonstrate the effectiveness of the PQ reps. That happens over time, but rather the simplicity of these mental fitness exercises. If you were thinking, why am I doing such a silly thing? Or what's the point? That's your judge talking to you. And rather than try new things, is blocking the possibility of your growth, your personal, mental, and physical growth. So I hope that you've stayed with us, and as you close your eyes, you didn't nod off. But that is just an implication and indication of what PQ reps are. When you regularly use this system, these PQ reps, it quietens the negative voices in your heads, relaxes you down, so that you become more creative. Problem-solving thoughts can occur when you once again open your eyes. And you know, this process is not new. It's what top athletes, sports people, creative individuals, and high achievers use to become more centered, relaxed, and productive. You know, there's a phrase that I always like to use, and it's this: our brains are like an umbrella. They only work when they're open. So I implore you to have your minds open. Some of the greatest ideas in history have come from people such as Einstein, Isaac Newton, and Mary Shelley, the author of Frankenstein. And they have come from a relaxed dream states. Go on the internet, have a look on Google and see if that is true. And this is going to be shocking for you. The old paradigms of no pain, no gain, or work harder and you'll succeed can be superseded by a more innovative mindset. Paradoxically, we achieve far more when we are relaxed and take the time to explore opportunities using the sage powers. Olivier.
Thank you, Dexter. The beauty of this approach is the simplicity of the exercises, as was demonstrated. But may I ask you to take a couple of moments and think of a situation when you woke up in the middle of the night worrying about a particular problem that left you feeling anxious and exhausted. And when this happens next, tell the voice in your head or the feeling on the pit of your stomach, go away. This is my time, and this is time for me to sleep. I'll deal with this in the morning. Use this template, and you'll be amazed how those night villains will shrink away, leaving space for solutions and positive action. That's the beauty of the operating system. Tell those negative emotions to stop. You're in saboteur mode. Do some PQ reps to quiet saboteurs and activate the sage. Assume the sage perspective that every problem can be converted into a positive gift and a wonderful opportunity. And then generate the gift by using the sage powers that have been built through these exercises. Sage powers like empathy, curiosity, creativity, and calm, clear-headed action. So who are these saboteurs that are preventing you from reeling your full potential? Well, I'll tell you very openly that we all have a key saboteur called the judge. We judge ourselves and tend to do so harshly. But the accomplished saboteur, number one for me, is the high achiever. And the problem with achieving, and as I can see that throughout my life, is once you've achieved something, guess what? You want to achieve something more, something different. And it's endless. And it's a saboteur. And that's not the way to achieve full potential. So, Dexter, over to you.
Thank you, Olivier, and thank you for sharing you've now made me want to share my saboteur. My judge, I've given a word to my judge. I've given him a name, and it is the Dementor. It's from Harry Potter, and if you have ever seen Harry Potter, the Dementors they arrive in a black form and kind of suck out the energy. And certainly when my judge has a go and tells me, Dex, you're not good enough, you're not going to be able to do it, why would you change anybody's opinion? Then that Dementor just gets in the way. So I have learnt, not 100%, takes time to remove that. And my top saboteur is the stickler. Now what that means, I'm a perfectionist, so that when I approach something, I feel I've got to get it 100% right. But the reality is that perfection is for the gods. And so now when I approach a situation, and certainly doing this today, this seminar today, my stickler comes into view. But I say, okay, as long as we get it right. And the wonderful thing is I'm sharing this this concept with Olivier. So the collaboration part of it helps to reduce some of those saboteur instincts. And my second is certainly a hyperachiever as well. But I'm content with what I have achieved and what I will continue to achieve. The problem with saboteurs is that what can be an innate ability can turn into a saboteur that abuses the success and the advantages that we have. So we all have them. What we need to do is control them. But let me ask you this question. Is it really possible to shift from that saboteur status to a sage response, even in the greatest and toughest of challenges? The answer is yes. But the speed and depth of that shift depends on the mental muscle strength. And I'll repeat that again. It depends on the depth of the shift from the mental or for the mental muscle strength. Lasting positive change requires the strengthening of your mental muscle and our mental muscle. And as with our physical strength, so it is with our mental strength. So let me tell you specifically what the program was that Olivia and I worked through and now are working with our clients through. It's an app-based program delivered over 6 weeks. Each week on a Saturday, a video is released defining the learning for the coming week. And that is a video narrated and in vision by Shirzad Chamine. So there's direct access to him via that. And then for 15 minutes per day, spread over 3 sessions of just 2 to 3 minutes, at times of your choosing, there is an app-based practice. Now what that means is that in the morning before 9 o'clock, the idea for the day is related by Shirzad. And then between the hours of 9 to 12, you take 2 to 3 minutes out of your day to do what is in fact a visualization. And then the next section is between 12 to 3, which is another practice, visualization. And then from 3 till 6, there is again that 2-3 minute slot. That's all it takes, where you step away from the computer, you step away from what you're doing, and you do this practice. Now that for me was life-changing and life-enhancing, because what comes out of that is a clarity of thought, what Shirzad talks about, laser-focused ideas. And so it really helps us and moves us forward. Also contained in the course is access to this book that we've been talking about, Positive Intelligence. And then each week, what Olivia and I do is conduct a 1-hour Zoom meeting for the group to discuss the learning and breakthrough experiences of the delegates. These pods are normally restricted just to 5 people, because that is also where this great learning comes from. So to give you an indication of what the app looks like, here are 3 pages that are from the app on your telephone. This does work on the iPad. I don't think it works on the Android system. It certainly works on the Android phone, but I don't think it works on like a desktop computer. But these are 3 pages that you access. The first is the actual exercises of the day. The middle one is what they call the gym, which are extended visualizations. And the third is your score that scores your mental muscle. So how do we show you that this is working, that it isn't just about us talking about it? These next 2 pages, and I'm going to leave it just for a second for you to read through them, are testimonials from people that are actually coming to the end of our programs or have finished our programs. So I'm just going to leave it to you to read very briefly. Thanks, Olivia. So, what's this all about? What is the Mental Fitness and Positive Intelligence program? It's where Olivia started. Are you in control of your thinking, or are others? What we invite you to do, and to give you a sense of what this life-changing experience is, we invite you, if you want to contact us, we will send you the link, to take the Saboteur PQ assessment test. And in the strictest of confidence, and I emphasize that, we are not going to share it, for the first 10 that send us their results, we will offer a free half-hour feedback consultation. We look forward to being part of your ongoing success and you reaching your peak performance.